Okay, guys. I saw this video of this guy saying why I no longer date black women, and I was interested to hear his perspective of what his reasoning was of why he no longer dates black women. So I listened to what he had to say, and then when I went to the comments, I started laughing because I saw that this black woman here. Well, he said something. I was just listening to what he was saying because he said that the reason why he doesn't take black women serious is because they call him unattractive and stuff like that. So that's why he will not take them serious. And he said the on average, the typical black woman, the key words are the typical black woman, which in his experience, most likely the typical black woman he went for was they were either kind of like already out of his league at the time that he tried to hit them up, and then he held on to those experiences in his mind and got rejected, and so he had like suppressed that, and then like as he when he got older or sometimes after that he dated other hood women or and then when I say out of his league because I don't want to say it like that because no one's really out of somebody's league, kinda. But when it comes to certain stuff, they are though. Like sometimes they be trying to shoot for certain women, but they don't have their shit together yet to for that woman to see him worth being with her. Like she sometimes can see that no, this nigga gonna bring me down if I because they had experience with certain types of men. Sometimes like all she do, maybe some woman misunderstood what he presented himself as at the time, but a lot of the times they could see that stuff, and sometimes men go, what I'm trying to say, they go for certain type of woman, and then when they get rejected, especially if she's a black woman, they'll be like, oh bitch, you ain't shit anyways, because a guy did that to me before when I politely declined his offer because I knew that he was really trying to get at me for another reason. It wasn't because he just, and if he did, um get him to my presence, or I basically bit the bait and let him take me out and do all that, it was just going to be for sex. I wasn't looking for that. And I, at the time, and especially being a gang stalk, and it was mostly black men who was doing it, like I'm real cautious, like, because usually when they come around, I know that I learned from a younger age growing up here in Oregon, when I was like 14 years old, that I started to see that most black men here in Oregon, they don't deal with black women already as it is. It's almost like they're racist towards black women themselves. So, and because I found out, because they were mean mug, I was a teenager. I was pumping the gas for my mom at the gas station, just looking around, and I saw this hood, ratchet, ghetto ass black man with his pants all the way down. Like, why would you put a belt on with your pants? Just let the mug sag. Then he had a white shirt on showing his whole ass. They were, at least the boxers was black, and he had long dreads, and the way he moved, like his, not cadence, but his the way he moved, you could tell he was one of them wild Negroes. And then I saw that he was with a white lady, and so I was shocked that she chose a nigga like that because white people be loving to majority of white people be loving to like judge black people. And then when I started seeing an influx, that's the first time when I came here to Oregon is when I started seeing mostly only, well, majority, not only but majority of only black men. I keep saying only because that's almost what it looks like, but I started to see a few spots of black women being with Caucasian men, African American women being with Caucasian, I should say melanated women being with Caucasian men. And it's not very, like, you can count the times on one hand when you see that, um, like when you go out in public. But when you see I'm talking about as far as interracial relationships go. But when it comes to interracial relationship, baby, that's all you see most of the time is melanated men with some form of Caucasian woman. And when they walk by you, they mean mug you like, yeah, bitch, I'm walking with this with a Caucasian woman. What you gonna do about it? They used to have a real nasty attitude, and I'll be like, man, I wasn't even tripping like that. Sometimes they catch your eye, you gonna look because you be like, oh, there's another interracial couple, or you be shocked, or sometimes you be judging in your mind too, be like, wow, she chose that type of dude. I ain't gonna lie. But the thing is, back when I was a teenager, I didn't have those facial expressions. I was just shocked. If anything, they saw me shocked. I was like, wow. I remember a dude, the reason why that dude caught my eye though was because he was already looking me, mugging me at the gas station when I just got out the car and I started pumping the gas. I think he might have been either used or knowing that a black female in general would look at him crazy for being with a Caucasian woman because of how they, I don't know why they thought that, whatever they're, I'm not going to go into detail about that stuff right now, maybe in another video. But the fact that was me mugging me already and like looking through the gas pump, like there's like a section um on the other side. He was looking all the way over across to the next pump because there was quite a bit of space where two cars could pass by each other, and that it was like one of those spaces, the gaps. And he was like me mugging me. But then one time I wasn't even dating a Caucasian man. I was simply just walking with him, and the attitude I got from a melanated man was so uncalled for, so unnecessary. That, and I was like, that man ain't he. I said, I think he looking at me like that because he think I'm dating this Caucasian man. That dude was not even my date. I was just walking with him and talking, but because I guess because how we were walking and talking together, they assumed that we were together. And he looked me up and down. He was like, bitch, you can get it right now. Like his attitude, like he was ready to beat my ass because he saw me walking with a Caucasian man. And that's the attitude that I have perceived from a lot of these melanated men here in Oregon since growing up, moving here back in 2006 when my dad was relocated here for his job. So the reason why I said all that though was because dudes like this guy in the video, they go for certain types of women and then they get rejected, so they hold that against the whole of all black women. Don't be mad because, like you said in the video, sir, you went for the possibly what you consider the typical black woman. Whatever was the typical black woman that he was going for, those are the ones that probably rejected him because they saw through him at that time. Maybe he changed, and maybe they know him for who he was, and maybe they themselves didn't let go of who they know he was, especially when you grow up with a type of guy. Like I hear about people growing up with certain individuals and they know each other for all those years. If sometimes if a woman sees you as somebody that's like her little brother or something like that, she can't unsee that, and for some reason, and or like you was like she always saw you as like a friendly type dude, in a friend zone, but never somebody she would consider like dating you like seriously and more intimately. Sometimes guys take offense to that. I had a guy do that to me. He got so upset. He was he was disgusting, and I made a video about it because I told him he the type of guy he is. It seemed like he was upset that I even said that he should go for a woman that is a Caucasian woman, because I think because how his personality is, it will fit best with somebody who's not of our culture because of how he acts towards us. It's almost like in a way he don't even like black women. So I was thinking, I was like, maybe you should get, because how I seen the dynamics of those relationships, I even told him maybe he should go and get with a Caucasian woman that will fit him best. And I wasn't trying to be rude, but it was just the way his attitude seemed. I can't really explain it right now, but I'll it's some I don't know. I had a video. I have to find that video because it was a way that he was acting. It was almost like he wanted to force you to be like a natural black woman. But if you did that, he would still find something else to complain and talk to you about to put you down. And but when he see like I saw him how he switched up too when he is oh yeah that's what it was. It seemed like he was more attracted to a Caucasian woman, but he tried to because of how his family think about him back in New Jersey. He wanted to try to, still have that image. So he was trying to go for something to fit a narrative of what how he cared more about what people thought about him than what he actually wanted or what actually fit best for him. That's the kind of it's hard to describe it. And he's a bit older than myself. He's like 45 or more, 46 years old or something like that. But and he married a lady just so that they can get something taken care of, and then they got a divorce, and then he was mad at her for some issue. But anyways, and sometimes what some black men tend to do, melanated men, sorry, tend to do is hold on grudges about what and I think men might in general might do this. I'm not sure, but as far as my experience has gone, it seems like a lot of melanated men have held on to grudges from what other melanated women have done to them, and then they carry it into the next relationship. It's like they see yourself now as whatever they saw that woman as whatever she did to him, and then they carry that same image in their mind, and then they treat every black woman that same way, and then turn around and get mad and be surprised that they're getting the same result from a different black woman, a different melanated woman. And that I'm like, because I dated a guy that I known for years, two guys that were considered melanated that have done that, and I could tell, especially when I've done stuff that wasn't even something to be considered holding on to, and then I realized years later, a dude still he'll say it out of his mouth. He's like, oh yeah, you my nigga, we cool, you we homies, Jay, blah 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 blah. Then next thing you know, he bring up something that's some years late. I'm like, you doing like a woman, and it's that kind of stuff that get irritating sometimes. And I was like, I stopped because I saw that he was a dude that held grudges. He hold on to stuff. He'll say that it's cool and you're cool and whatever, and then try to be like, no, I ain't worried about that shit. But deep down inside, it's bugging the f out of him. And it's like he don't want to open up and become vulnerable with you. And then on top of it, my ex wanted me to become vulnerable with him. And I seen a couple men did that. They want you to be vulnerable with them, and then they'll betray you in some kind of way, or they'll use it against you, but then they won't be vulnerable with you, and they'll even lie and then hold something against you. Half the times it's not even worth holding on to. It's a lot of, so in short, I'm going to skip all that story and basically say this. A lot of the times people be having a lack of emotional intelligence, and is really heavy in the melanated community, and we have like displaced anger, and it's like we redirect it at some another individual who it's not their fault, but we help. And I think some people don't realize when they're doing it, and some of them, even if they kind of find out they're doing it, it's like people have too much pride to want to hold themselves accountable or be accountable for what they did, or for what they can do to not allow a situation to maintain having power or authority over their emotions so that they can move forward. And like he said the typical black woman. So how could you say like he didn't say all black women, but now because of those women that he had experience with, he's not going to take black women, I guess, as a whole serious anymore because of his experience with those few. They're ridiculous and they're not worth investing any more time or energy into. And I get that, especially if you're burned out, because I got that way myself when I was seeing how these Negroes was acting out here. I was like, I ain't got time for none of these niggas because their attitude. That's why I was starting to realize it's not necessarily their fault, but if I see them acting a certain way and I'm tired of how the culture is, like they have a pre-programming of um, melanated people culture, and sometimes that comes with like emotional abuse. Every ethnicity can have emotional abuse, but it seems like the I'm just going to say the black community, the melanated community has a hard time being accountable for some reason. And they don't want to go get help. They be like, oh man, we don't do that shit. We chop it up. They always want to say stuff like they're strong. And then they compare themselves to Caucasians and they'll be like, oh, well, you know that if that was some Caucasians had to go through stuff we going through, they wouldn't have made it. But then we see the tragedies that happen in the community, our community, and we ain't no better. We doing pitiful stuff. At least in those communities, they can come together more so than we can, and work out their differences and grow up. But us, it seemed like we have a hard time like working with each other for some reason. It's like they be like, oh no, that nigga think they, it's like it's a jealousy type of issue too. Like I seen it happen with men and women. It's not just a female thing in the melanated community, in any community as far as I'm concerned. But it seemed like melanated people have it the worst when it comes to working with, like, I for instance, my melanated male therapist was in his feelings because he saw something within me. And when I started saying that after me going through the experience that he know I went through, because I was very vulnerable with him, and then I started realizing I wanted to do something like what he did. It's like he became insulted or offended at the fact that a chocolate woman, a melanated woman like myself, that's his client, want to rise up and be something like him. And I feel like he also was jealous. Like he thought maybe I would possibly even do a better job than what he does, because I even started calling, not in a disrespectful manner either. It was in a way I was saying like, sir, I was checking him to make sure he was okay. I was trying to be actually considerate and polite, but it's like I wish the sessions were recorded. And I'm thinking about a picture I got of him in my phone, because I was about to take the picture and send it to him and show him that my side of the screen was correct, but it on the picture he was like this in there in the and I wasn't talking about negative stuff. That's how I know that he might kind of have some narcissism and stuff. And I think that might also come from, like, another woman I was saying, heard saying that, and I agree with what she was saying. Like the trauma is deeply rooted in our DNA. It's not just, and I found that out myself as well, but I'm piggybacking off of what she said. I think her channel name is Miss Shadow Talk 9, I believe. Yeah, it's a beautiful lady. And um I just was thinking about something she said about DNA is not going to save us alone. She's correct, because first of all, people don't pay attention to, like, the trauma that comes through our bloodline, first of all. And melanated people, we have a really deep trauma that we need to settle. But that's not what I'm talking about exactly in this video. I'm just basically trying to show how an example of all this stuff I was talking about is showing itself in the comments about how these chocolate men are when it comes to black women. So I don't know, and later on I'll make another video like talking about how it kind of ties in with. I feel like some chocolate men, they have an issue with some chocolate woman having some confidence in herself and having an authority within her femininity, or being able to be balanced and operate in her masculine and feminine energy at different times. Some of them, they have an issue with that. I don't know what it is, but it's like they instantly want to tear you down. How dare you, as a chocolate woman, want to be and rise up and be only he's supposed to be king. It's like a black man, a chocolate man, they want the chocolate woman under his foot for some reason, and it demonstrates itself even in this video. Of course, like, I'm not against this man. I have no, I he, in my opinion, I feel like he should just say he's tired of us nigresses. He wants something else. That's all he should say, and leave it at that. Don't be trying to, or be like, you mostly got, be honest and be like, you got mostly rejected by some black woman or some chocolate woman that was kind of out of your league at the time, and you held on to it, and it hurts you, and you need to heal from it. And meanwhile, while that's happening, you feel like you're tired of it. You might want to go to another nationality, so something different, something new, so that you could get over it and like feel happier. Don't have to put us down. Hopefully he doesn't make any more videos like talking bad about black women. He also needs to take ownership of his own personality, his own emotions. I meant to say the suppressed emotions of things that he's holding on to, so he can heal and let go of some of that stuff and realize the reality of that situations of these situations that happened in the past, and then figure out that, I mean, and realize those situations don't have power over who he really is. He's not an unattractive man. He's not ugly. He sound like he's kind of hurt, poor guy. So he just, because the way he said it, he was like, they talk, they of the average black woman. That's what it sounds like. Some of these niggas is, they just hurt and they don't know it. And then if they do know it, they don't want to admit it because they feel like it makes them weak. But in private, when they with they niggas should probably tell them that and help them heal from it without putting down black women as a whole. Be like, it was just those select few, because us black women need to heal as well. That's why we keep having this mental turmoil and emotional turmoil within the chocolate community. So, and I'm sick of seeing it myself. That's part of the reason why at now sometimes when it's a party, like if it's a all mostly chocolate people inviting me to a party, I don't go, because a majority of I'll rather go to a party with vanilla people who I know most of them don't want my chocolate ass there. But if a few is okay with me, I don't care about the rest of them vanillas. They can kiss it. I'm gonna just hang out with my few and I'll watch my drinks and stuff, and then I won't even probably stay there too long. I'm not the type of person that stay too long at places anyways. I would probably go off and do my own thing and party and have fun. I'm used to having fun doing stuff by myself now. It's like less drama. You ain't gotta worry about how somebody's feelings are and all that. And if they lying, because that's what I had to deal with. Black men not face, like they don't sit there and be honest, like you really hurt me. But then if they do, it's way long after you are no longer with them, and then they finally come to terms when they get with other women in different nationalities and see that they still had the same issues and that it boils down to them. Then they'll come back and you really hurt me. I was like, about time, baby. I like when they be telling me the truth about the stuff, because then I help. I'm willing to work with them. But sometimes they assume that we don't want to work with them because they don't want to work with us, because they don't want to seem like a pussy nigga. They don't want to seem like a simp. That's why I know that they have this stuff wrong about when they calling the men that are treating their woman right a simp. It's when they go too far and they're just doing like a push or doing whatever the woman's saying, and she's disrespectful to him. Then maybe you can call him a simp. But I see men calling men a simp that was treating their woman real well, and then I'm pretty sure she treated him well too. Otherwise, he wouldn't be taking his time to do that. Like, come on, man. They just hating that a man was able to be healed and be that way with his woman, instead of having to have her be like she's a subservient peasant that is lucky to have him even um, in her presence. That's how some of them have those type of attitudes. But then they want you to worship them, but they act like you're a peasant. How that work? Yeah, but then you want to say this is my girl, but people they be doing stuff. So now I can get to the comments and basically really quickly show how this lady here, Miss Naturally Done, she says black men say I'm unattractive all the time. Oh, not all the time. Think about something else I read. Black men say I'm unattractive, but all the other races love me, especially white men. Black men don't see my intellect, but white men do, and they love my personality and my character. No gray area for me. This is on average, and not all, but just my experience. Even if that lady is white, because now that I read it again, she do sound like she capping a little bit, bapping for those of you who are saying capping. But but the thing is, whether she's telling the truth or not, when I clicked on this, and I like how he had tried to be nice to her. Maybe it's because she's also not a darker chocolate woman too, and she was saying that because he said, "Thank you, beautiful, classy lady." And I guess that, yeah. So, anyways, when you scroll down here, this person said, "You seriously gotta be lying." But if you go watch and listen to the video, just about almost everything that woman said in her statement, her paragraph here, is exactly similar to what he was saying about black women. Like black women say he's unattractive, but all the other because it take it, like she said, get this man. We get with this other part when he talked about all the other races. They immediately fall in love with his personality, how he moves, his intellect, and then he's talking about how some when black women see him, they see him as a white guy because of his intellect. But that's not just black women who do that. It's almost a thing in the black culture, in the um, chocolate melanated culture, where they do that. Like if somebody enunciates their words, because I went through that. I was being bullied by niggas because I was like back then because we grew up in certain areas. I enunciated my words, and they called, why are you speaking so proper? And it's like I didn't know at that time. I didn't know how to code switch, like a lady said on the video. I know what she's talking about because it became naturally who I was. It was like how I spoke naturally, and then I started practicing how to sound a little bit more hood and ghetto because I got the country part down. But like after some time when I went to different schools and I was reading and doing all this other stuff, then I noticed my vernacular was changing, and people was messing with me because of that. It was like just because, like for instance, black people was mad because I had all this ass and I didn't like twerking. I didn't like twerking out in public. I didn't shake my ass when I heard music. I'm not the type of woman who automatically go to. It's time for me to shake my booty and do a mating call. I went to like popping some real moves, and then they'd be like, "Oh, girl, please." It was a woman at that was tripping about it. So you don't shake. I was kind of embarrassed. Like I was really shy to do that kind of dance in public, but because they assume just because you got ass, that's what you're supposed to be doing with it. Hell no. But, and anyway, that's my motor for when I'm riding my bike and when I'm running. Besides my neck down. But anyways, this man here that was saying that they were talking bad about how he, like, I guess his intellect. But if you think about that, maybe it's those type of women. Just like for myself, I know that there's some handsome, intelligent black men, chocolate melanated men out here. And after I started healing from what a majority of the black men that I've dated or had any type of intimacy with in the past have done, when I got over that stuff by dealing with my own emotions and my like the power, I didn't allow them to have power over me anymore by the things they had done. I just distanced myself from them and I started setting boundaries bit by bit, and then didn't allow them to control me. And then they tried to guilt trip me for doing that, and then spread lies about who I was to their homeboys, so their other homeboys that like me didn't, that I wouldn't have a chance with them. And it was a grown ass nigga, Robert Porter, who did that shit to me. He's the nigga that went around lying to some. She a prostitute, even though I've done stuff related to that in the past. But at the time he was telling people that, I was not doing any of that activity. And he was one of the niggas that was mad because he was trying to get me to do that. But anyways, he's much older than myself, and he was jealous because of that, and he went to tarnish my character because of that, because I wouldn't let him control me and treat me however he wanted me to be treated, however he wanted to treat me and accept it. But he went and found a Caucasian woman who was doing that. That's the crazy part. And then that's another thing. Some of these men, they don't care about how you they don't care what your nationality is. Some of them are just grimy regardless, because I've seen it with my own eyes and heard it how, because I was hanging out with dudes. It's like some of them, a couple of them were my homies. So when they had their other homies come over, I was hearing all the talk about what they would talk about, how they talk about other women regardless of their nationality. And I'm like, man, these some sick ass niggas. And there was this one white boy, this one vanilla that was trying to fit in with the rest of those chocolates. And so he was, because he was trying to fit in with them, he was doing the same behavior. So that's why I'm kind of reluctant, not reluctant, but I'm cautious of some of those Caucasian men that want to date chocolate women, and then he act like he's uh he's part of the hip hop culture. It's different if he grew up with niggas and he just hood. That's different. But if he's kind of like he wants to kind of fit in, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of those vanilla dudes are like that, but sometimes they're basically like those unhealed black men in disguise, but they just have a Caucasian skin. I just need to throw that in there real quick to let some of y'all know. Don't fall for it. But not saying all of them are like that. Please don't take it out of context what I was saying. chocolate woman is saying it, she's automatically seriously lying. Even though if you go watch the video, he just about said what this woman here is saying. It's just that she flipped it around. And I feel like I'm almost starting to wonder if that's kind of what she was doing, like to show that it can go both ways. Like, and it does go both ways. It's not just, but it seemed like because black men are so hurt and they don't want to heal, they instead they want to point the finger and blame. That's what I found out my exes have done. So I said this seems to be a prevalent issue that is amongst black men, that they don't want to heal because they feel like it makes them feel weak. But you're not, guys. You're not weak if you do that. You're stronger if you do that. In fact, but this one's funny to me when she said, "Same over here. My hair was too nappy." That's how I read it. That's how I imagined it when she was saying it. And then she was like, "I was too natural with it." And when she said that, I was like, "Girl, they tripping over you being too natural." But then I remembered in some issues that I had with two chocolate men I've dated in the past. They're the type of men who act like and who said they like they woman natural, but what they didn't want you doing is dressing up like other women who might have put a little makeup on. I ain't talking about powder clown. I'm talking about just some enough makeup to make yourself look up more decent, like you classy with your makeup and it's presentable, not looking like you finna be a drag queen or nothing like that. Or and then when you look like classy yet slightly sexy at the same time, they ain't want you doing all that. They want you natural, so other men don't really, really natural though, to the point that you almost could be potentially unattractive to other men because they don't want you looking too nice, so that other men wouldn't like holler at you or check you out when you're out with him because of his emotions, because of how he felt, because of how his insecurities made him feel, because of his insecurities, why he wanted the natural woman. And I found that out by seeing like a lot of men who said that, and they had a natural woman, and she was beautiful naturally too. And but he went for the whole looking ass ladies, the ones that was dressing all sluttish. And then because one of my exes, he put it in my face one time to try to make. When I saw him do that, he was instantly disgusting to me. I had at that moment, I think I had finally lost all respect for him. And he even blew my phone up yesterday trying to call him. So I'm just trying to check on you, baby. Hey, you ain't checking on no shit. You best leave me alone, baby. Go ahead and be with the lady that you was crying for. That I already saw in the spirit realm that she was tearing his ass up, yelling at him. She finally had enough of his shit. And then the conversation, it involved something around me, but I won't go into detail about that right now. But yeah, so that's another thing. This lady, she gotta be right though, because they say some of these men who be saying they want a natural woman, when they say that, they don't want you to have your natural nappy hair. If it is natural, they want you to either perm it, straighten it, wear it curly, or put some of that stuff to make it like wavy curly or stuff. They don't want the natural nappy. But there's some ladies, they be looking fly with their afros. I ain't gonna lie, baby. So, but some men, they don't want that exactly because it's too black. I'm just gonna say it. They want, because first of all, they want to be fitted into society's norms a little bit more. And I'm talking about the racist people, the people that act like they're more supreme to another race. They want to try to fit in with those people. So even if they are natural, they don't want to be too natural, like have their full fledged afro. And I ain't gonna say all of them because some people, like myself, sometimes your hair's thin when you make an afro. Yeah, it don't turn out too good. So unfortunately, man, I'm just disappointed because I'm thinking about a lady I saw her had a good ass afro. It was juicy too, and it was thick. But my hair ain't like that, so I couldn't get my afro like that, unfortunately. But anyways, and sometimes when they say they like a natural woman, they try to act like they like chocolate people, but they only like a certain chocolate people. You can't be too dark. You gotta be light skinned black. That's the only type of black that they go for because it's closer to white. I'm just gonna say it. So it's more fair skinned than the chocolate, and then they might have a chocolate wife, or but if you're darker, they'll put you down too. There's some men who play that. There's some men and women who do that type of stuff. But it's mostly a men thing because when I come to find out is that it's a lot of men that are emotionally immature and they do childish things. And they're naturally, they did say naturally women are more mature or they mature faster than a man does. That might have something to do with it, unfortunately. But I don't think that that's every single man because I've seen some extremely intelligent men out here. I'd be like, no, you're the exception to that rule because of how your intelligence is. I myself they be knowing what to do. They be street smart and they be book smart. So maybe you lying when you talk about black women don't like them kind of. I think he's talking about the majority of the ones that he had experience with them. And then you see this other dude, Travis McGowan. I wouldn't be surprised if he's related to a black man that was in Damascus, Oregon, and he had a chocolate one, but on the side he went to go get some chocolate vagina. He had a vanilla woman, I meant to say, but he was using her for a place to stay and some money and like playing that role of being her hubby type dude. But he didn't get married to her; they were just together. And I did hear about some people that were together so long they weren't married, but they wore rings like they were married. But anyways, you see how this person says stop making shit up. Now because she's a woman saying this stuff, the original comment here, she's making shit up, but the chocolate man saying it, he's not making shit up. That's how you know these one-sided ass niggas. That's what I'm basically trying to say. Some of these niggas is one-sided, but then to sum this all up, I just wanted to share also how when they're one-sided, there's some black men that know how to put on very well and they will do it for years. I've dated two of these black men. One of them I was not really a date. It was kind of like a date, but then I started seeing what kind of man he was, and he told me the truth too, baby. He not too long ago called me, telling me something about him getting locked up and put away in jail in Canada because of some drugs that he sold, and he made a bunch of money, and that's why he had cut off his dreads and stuff. Because I seen him, and then he tried to have me come help him move, but the nigga wasn't trying to pay me no money. I promise you, if I was a another nationality, he would have treated me more respectfully. That's how some of these men are. They naturally, because of their programming and because society puts down black women, they feel like they need to do the same thing for them to fit in. They always talk about how hard it is for a black man, but then they don't think about how harder it can be and is for black women. Because one, we're not only are we're chocolate and have this melanated, beautiful skin that pup mugs be trying to hate on, but then on top of it, we're a woman. So they put like we have this patriarchal society trying to put down women, but especially chocolate women, because we're allegedly at the bottom of the totem pole. So this Travis dude, because I remember this. Oh no, it's not the same guy. His name was just similar. But I remember when I was 19 or 20 years old, my mom was like, "Girl, where you was at?" Dang, I'll tell you what, that's another side. But then she wanted to kick me out before that, though. I was like, so it was a lot of emotional abuse in my family. That's how I came to terms about this. Because for some reason, when I was growing up, a lot of stuff didn't make sense to me. Every time the family get together, all y'all niggas was fighting. Y'all always got some shit. But then talk about so, oh, he can come to the cookout, what, to see all that ratchet drama? Who wants to come to a cookout and y'all fighting each other and then don't go to a cookout in the hood and they shooting mugs? Then you wind up in a crossfire. I'm never going to a Negro cookout again ever in my life. Is what they'll probably be saying. Y'all be talking about something they invited to the cookout. And then that's another thing. They be trying to invite mugs to the cookout that don't want shit to do with your ass. You just think they cool. But I ain't gonna get to that. I'll talk about that part on another video because this one's already too long. They be trying to basically. I didn't want to say it like this, but they be trying to eat ass. I'm just gonna say it like that instead of kiss ass, so that they can feel like they can get some sort of acceptance themselves. It's hard for me to explain that, but I just like I saw it a certain kind of way. But anyways, I won't go too much deeper, but you guys yourselves can go into the comment section and see what I'm talking about. How when it was the chocolate woman who was saying the thing, and then it was a serious problem. But if he said basically the same thing that some of these women are saying, oh, it's totally acceptable. So that's how some of these Negroes play. So just be careful out there.